Where is my I Called It award? Come on. Where's my award for I Called It? Last week, I saw that death flag. I sensed that death flag. My death flag senses were tingling when I saw last week's episode. Oyanagi dying. I saw it. I saw it coming from a mile away. Seriously, I saw it. I saw it. When you saw Oyanagi just get grabbed by the face, slung through the glass freaking wall, or the glass in this episode, I'm like, she's gonna fucking die. I knew it. I knew right when that happened, she was going to die. And then the obvious signs in this episode where anyone inside of that little room cannot hope to keep their psychopath level in check, I was like, yeah, she's dead. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, by far the best episode of Psycho-Pass Season 2. Oh my god, I love this episode. And personally, this took up a one-step level higher than some of the episodes even from Psycho-Pass 1. There's a lot of reasons why I love this episode. For one thing, I love the brutality of this episode. We get to see how flawed the Sybil system really is. I mean, we all know Sybil system is flawed. I mean, it's been demonstrated enough. But with this episode, it shows you really how flawed it really is. Because, I mean, all these people that ran out of this building, like this person terrorizing them, torturing everybody, slapping people in the heads, this politician dude, he was just torturing everybody. And of course, if you're in that situation, any normal human being, me, myself included, everybody would probably get a little bit crazy, or they'll not have a level head. They'll get very stressed if you're seeing people get the shit beat out of them, or if you see someone's head get fucking crushed in like a pancake. I mean, I know for a fact if I was to see something like that in real life, oh shit, dude, I'd probably be throwing up or something. I mean, I don't know how I would take it if I actually saw someone's real head get crushed in by someone. So yeah, you gotta go figure, this episode shows a massive flaw with the Sybil system. Like, I love the final ending, line of this episode. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been very iffy when it comes to the scriptwriter of this series, because you all know the scriptwriter of Hamatora, but I do have to hand it to the scriptwriter. He did a really good job with the ending conclusion of this episode. A damn good job with what he said. Like, for instance, Sybil system. What is your color? And I'm like, oh, that was pretty badass. I have to admit, the dialogue in that scene was really freaking nice. That was awesome. And I noticed they actually censored that final scene in this episode, like when the WC was on the floor. I don't know if anyone else noticed. It might be because of where I watched it on Funimation, but it was definitely censored on top. Like, the WC was censored. I'm guessing it's because there was a lot of corpses everywhere, but they showed a lot of gore and violence in this episode, so I wonder exactly what they censored. But either way, this episode of Psycho-Pass Season 2, it was really, really freaking brutal. Like, oh my god, like, very fucking brutal. There was blood, violence, you saw people exploding. I was just like, holy shit. Well, I mean, I thought, Makishima Shogo's entire neck slit from the first season was brutal, which it's still fucking brutal for Psycho-Pass standards, but I mean, what this episode does, it takes it to a level to where you see the flaws in Sybil. For instance, like I said, of course, if you're in that situation as a normal civilian and you see someone get fucking head stomped in, or you see a girl being slung around like a freaking doll, rag doll, into glass, of course you'll go a little bit nuts. And of course you'll vomit like that one girl did in this episode if you saw something like that, especially if you're weak to horror movies and stuff like that. So, of course, it's understandable why their Psycho-Pass levels went completely up. And the thing is that shows the flaw, because Sybil system doesn't fucking care. It doesn't discriminate in the different Psycho-Pass levels. It'll just outright kill you if your Psycho-Pass level got risen because of an argument. It doesn't care. Sybil system is like that. And so, I see the overall flaw. I mean, this flaw has been there since the first season. We've seen demonstrations of this flaw, but it seems like they're really trying to demonstrate the massive flaw that is Sybil system. Because, I mean, how can Sybil system judge these people that are in this situation to where they're forced to have their, Psycho-Pass levels go up? Like, how can Sybil system do that? So I felt like the entire ending dialogue with that, with how Kamui says, like, what is your color, Sybil system? That was just a really nice addition to this episode. So, it seems like Mika, the bitch freaking inspector, oh my god. I've already stated my thoughts on it. I'm not even going to get further into that. But it seems like her Yuri route she wanted got kind of ruined in this episode. She wanted that Yuri love, but it got ruined in this episode. Oyanagi got turned into a pile of goo, pretty much. So, honestly, I am sad that Oyanagi died. I really am. I would be lying if I wasn't sad. But I saw it coming. Like I said, the obvious death flag from last week's episode was obvious. I saw it. I saw it coming, but I didn't expect it to be that brutal. Now, I want to bring up something that a lot of people made sure to let me know last week, and I just want to actually talk about it. Yes, I know Ginoza lost his arm in the first season. I know that. I was talking about the similarities between the father's arm and his arm, and I was talking about how that most likely can symbolize he will die in this season. I just wanted to mention that. I didn't specifically say about the arm. Like, I know he lost an arm and got crushed. But I was saying the way position it is, where it's at, and all that, and the way they tried to show it off in last week's episode, obvious death flag was fucking obvious. So I just wanted to say that. So anyways, moving past that entire point, I also want to say something else. This episode, for the most part, it is a very just brutal episode. Any gore fans that are just nuts over blood and violence, oh my god, they're gonna have a field day with this episode. And it's a perfect episode right before the day of Halloween. I'm just gonna say right now, perfect episode for any Halloween fanatic, because, I mean, this is exactly what you would want to see if you want to celebrate Halloween. So, yeah. Very, very interesting episode. Now, one thing I will say is I wonder exactly what Mika is going to do now that she has her Yuri route lover pretty much killed in this episode. Will she actually change her overall aggressive attitude? Because she clearly saw all these inspectors, Division 3, come in and start slaughtering everybody. These innocent civilians, we know from our viewpoint, they were innocent. And she just sees all these innocent civilians running for their lives from this dude, and they're getting shot and just killed. So, I mean, I wonder exactly what Mika's going to do. Is she going to actually have some character development? Will she understand Akane's entire perspective? Or is she going to continue to be a bitch? We don't know. So, one thing I also want to question is, one of those inspectors, the one on top, okay, that actually shot the sniper rifle type Dominator, you'd think he would have known if he was shooting an inspector. Like, you'd think he would know. Because we do know when they're looking at the, the person they're about to shoot with their Dominator, the face, the name, everything pops up. So this person should have known that it was an inspector that he was shooting, so very interesting. Like, he didn't seem like he even cared that he shot an inspector. It didn't seem like it at all. And it's pretty freaking crazy. So, yeah, overall, a wonderful episode of Psycho Pass. By far, one of the best episodes of Psycho Pass Season 2. And I can't wait to see exactly where the series is going to go. One thing I do want to mention before I end this review, the opening song. The opening song is glitchier than the last week's episode. Like, it looks a lot freaking glitchier. Like, you can't even make out, Togane and Kogame's actual face anymore. Like, you can't see it at all in the opening, so I'm like, holy shit. So, yeah, there's clearly, the opening song is changing as it progresses. And clearly in this episode, as we know, Akane is not going crazy because Kamali's, we know he exists, so yeah. So we'll have to see exactly where the series goes from this point. I'm very excited for next week's episode after this brutal week's episode. Surprised there wasn't as much censors. I mean, that's a plus. So tell me your thoughts. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.